How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about Dolly Parton's alleged Black Lives Matter comments. And the reason why I say alleged is because the media aren't telling you the full story. Of course, that's no surprise. But you see the headlines all over the place. Dolly Parton supports Black Lives Matter. Dolly Parton says, of course, Black Lives Matter. They're trying to paint her as a BLM supporter, but that's not really what's going on. Now, before I go any further, let's roll this clip. In this clip, I think it's from Billboard. You'll see an excerpt of an interview, and if I can find the full thing, I'll link to it in the box. But in this excerpt, you'll hear what she said, but then you'll hear the whole quote so you can get a better understanding of what she was talking about and where she's coming from. After we get done with that, I'll talk about what she said, then I'll give you my 2 cents, my deep detail analysis, and then I'll wrap it on up with a nice bow on top. So without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
I think that everybody needs to express themselves however they feel they have to. I'm not out, like I said, I'm not out here to tell you what to do. I don't want you to tell me what to do. But I just do what my heart tells me to do. I ask God to direct me and lead me. And if I've got His direction, I don't have to worry too much about anything else. But I do understand people having to make themselves known and felt and seen. And of course, Black Lives Matter. Do we think our little white asses are the only ones that matter? No. Everybody matters.
All right, so you heard that, you saw that. Now, I'm not really sure where to begin. I guess the first thing would be the actual quote, the full quote, not the truncated quote you get from the media that paints Dolly Parton as a BLM supporter. Look at the entire thing. She says, of course, Black Lives Matter. It's not just the lily white people that matter, which means she thinks that white people matter, of course. And then at the very end, did you hear what she said? She said, everybody matters. Now, I'm not necessarily the smartest guy in the world. I'm not Albert Einstein, but when someone says in that particular context, everybody matters, that's the equivalent to saying all lives matter. So how are you going to paint somebody as a BLM supporter, as somebody that's going to be out there wearing a Black Lives Matter t-shirt talking about all lives don't matter until Black Lives Matter? How are you going to paint them as that when they just said that all lives matter right there in a little clip you played for the internets? Okay, you couldn't cut that part off. It's right there in it. So why would you come up with these headlines where it says Dolly Parton supports Black Lives Matter and then not play the part or talk about the part where she says that everybody matters? Okay, what I heard right there was that all lives matter. So the media are just lying. They're trying to get people that aren't really political, because Dolly Parton is not political. Okay, and if you don't know who Dolly Parton is, you can look her up, but I'll give you just a brief introduction into Dolly Parton. She is a country music legend, been around for a long time. And in my humble opinion, she's probably the greatest celebrity philanthropist living today. That's just my opinion. Maybe I could be wrong. Maybe you think Bill Gates is a great philanthropist. I'm not really sure, but I digress. She's probably the greatest philanthropist there is. Okay. She has the Imagination Library. You're talking about millions of kids that have been helped all over the world to improve their literacy. She's giving out millions of free books to kids. This is somebody that just wants to help people, just wants to do the right thing. You know, she's not one of these celebrities out here like Alyssa Milano on Twitter talking about Black Lives Matter and all this other dumb stuff, talking about the mask. She's not some kind of just political person just trying to get fame off of that. She's just trying to help people. And she has helped people all throughout her life. Okay. And she's from right here where I am in East Tennessee. She first helped her community. You know, she grew up in like abject, poor, like beyond what the average American sees right now as far as poverty is nothing compared to what Dolly Parton grew up in. Okay. And people still kind of live like that over here in East Tennessee. And her main objective when she became a philanthropist was to help East Tennessee. You're talking about a lot of poor rural whites. Okay. She's definitely the champion for the rural white person that's pretty much forgotten. She's definitely their champion. I would say that Dolly Parton, beyond being the queen of Tennessee, and when I say queen, I don't mean it in a soft way. I'm talking about like the queen of England. She's the queen of Tennessee, but beyond that, she's the queen of the entire Appalachia, because it's like nobody really cares about us that are out here. black, white, or whatever. They don't really care about this region. It's kind of like the butt of jokes. But she's a person that's really been out here on the ground helping people like all throughout her life for years and years and years. Okay. So this whole thing about, oh, well, she's a BLM supporter, that's just disrespectful to Dolly Parton. She's not even like that at all, period. And you know what? Even if she did say Black Lives Matter, which is not really what she was saying, even if she did say that, I'd be willing to give her a pass because of all of what she actually does. All right. She's not like these celebrities out here. Like I said, Alyssa Milano just trying to get some fame and attention. All these other blue checkers on Twitter. Oh, I'm the senior editor of Washington Post. Okay, so what? Who cares? You could not ever you can never walk in Dolly Parton's shoes. You could never do any of the things that Dolly Parton has done for people, the poor, rural whites, the blacks, everybody. She's not a racist person or a political person. The media are trying to smear Dolly Parton to use her as a weapon against all of us. Okay. And then to turn people in the country music scene away from her. But that's not really going to happen. Like I said, out where I am, East Tennessee, no. That's just not going to be. You can see the local news reports and you see the comment section. People are pointing the media out for mischaracterizing what Dolly Parton was saying and mischaracterizing her as an individual. It's like, man, she's not political. Like, if you are 74 years old, like Dolly Parton is, you're not all of a sudden going to become political like that. That's just not her. She wants to help people and has helped millions of people, kids especially, in rural, poor areas, white areas. Like, she's not this BLM type person. If you were to ask her a question about, do you support tearing down businesses and stuff like that, she'd be like, absolutely not. No way, Jose. Like, that's just not even what it is. She's not into that type of stuff at all. She just wants to help and that's it. But this is what the media does. This is no surprise to me. I mean, I've been watching the media for an extended period of time and how they characterize things, how they want to try to misquote. And it's at this point, we pretty much know how biased they are. All the media. Even sometimes you might get Fox News joining on the party because at a certain point, they're part of this whole big conglomerate too. This is why people like myself and many others here on YouTube are very important, because we don't have all this big corporate structure on our back trying to manipulate how we report news. We report news in a non-biased way. Now, I'm conservative, so you get my opinion, but I'm going to give you the facts. When I write articles on my website, I give you every source I have. Local news, national news, left, right, everything, so you can make your own mind up. I'm not just going to say, oh, take my word for it, listen to me, I'm right. Nah, here's everything. I'm going to give you the full picture, and then I give you my opinion as an effort, like as a secondary thing, not as a primary thing. At this particular point in time, the mainstream media and news in general has become opinion first and then facts kind of secondary. You want to kind of intertwine facts in there to the point where you don't get sued. It's always like yellow journalism or off-white journalism, not really all the way scrupulous, kind of underhanded, kind of shady, kind of manipulative, trying to push a narrative. That's pretty much what it's become. And now they're trying to attack Dolly Parton. That's not going to work. I mean, people, like, she's a person you can't cancel. You cannot cancel Dolly Parton. You can cancel some of these E-list Twitter celebrities. That's fine. But Dolly Parton, please, that's just not even, that's like trying to cancel, an historic figure. Like, you're talking about a living legend. Country music, of course, he's a legend in that. Beyond country music, which he's a legend, what she's done for East Tennessee, for the whole world, is beyond what most people will ever be able to do in their lives. Even big people with money, millionaires, billionaires, like, she's a whole different breed. So as I close, I want to say this. Shame on the mainstream media for trying to smear Dolly Parton into being some kind of BLM rabble-rousing person. That's just not her. She's out here helping people in a real way, has been doing that for years and years and years before I was born. And I'm not that far from 40 years old. So media ought to be ashamed of themselves. They know better than that. And I think people that are out here in Appalachia, Tennessee, West Virginia, Ohio, Kentucky, everywhere all around the country that understand who she is are able to see how the media are trying to twist what she said to fit their narrative. The media are into this whole BLM, ACAB, and all this and that. They're into defund the police. They're into that. That's why they want to push this particular thing. You know, that's why they want to get Trump out of office. They're into that, but not Dolly. That's just not her. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? Do you think that Dolly Parton is a Black Lives Matter supporter? If that's your viewpoint, let me know why in the comments below. Or do you think, like I think, which is the media are twisting her words, leaving certain words out just to fit their narrative? If that's your viewpoint, let me know why in the comments below. I think I've made my stance pretty clear in this particular video. The media are trying to smear Dolly Parton. She is a godsend to millions of people all over the world in a real way. The music, of course, but the philanthropy, you know, helping kids with literacy and helping kids out of poverty. I mean, that's something that you really can't, you really can't come against. And like I said, even if she were to be like Black Lives Matter or some kind of off comment like that, I mean, how you going to just throw her away considering how much she actually does for people? A lot of people that are out there talking about Black Lives Matter, fists up in the air, do nothing. And they don't want to do anything. All they want to do is capitalize off of this whole BLM movement. That's pretty much how they're operating. That's simply just not Dolly Parton. And it's not just me wanting to defend her. I'll have all my evidence, all my sources in the box below. You can see it for yourself. Don't just take my word for it. Look it up and you'll be able to see what I see. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.